Well, hello, friends. It's rainy. I know you haven't seen my face in quite some time, it feels like, at least in the booktube community. I've been in a little bit of a reading slump, but today we are going to talk about a June TBR or pile of possibilities for two readathons that I just could not pass up. So, without further ado, before this gets too long, because I have 10 plus books on this TBR, let's just get right into it. The first readathon that I want to participate in June is the Red, White, and June readathon that is hosted by quite a few people. So I will link everybody's channels that are hosting this below. Now, this readathon is centered around the Revolutionary War era. And when I was a kid, I really, really loved that era. I loved reading about it in school, and I have vivid memories of reading things like Johnny Tremain and books by Phyllis Wheatley, just learning a lot about that era way back when I was maybe like in third grade. Since then, I really haven't read that much Revolutionary War fiction or nonfiction. So when this readathon came up, I thought, oh, let's revisit my childhood, basically. So the ultimate goal for this readathon is just to read one nonfiction and a fiction centered on in that era. So realistically, for this readathon, I only have two books that are like on my yes, I'm going to read them list for June. And those are Washington, A Life by Ron Chernow. And this is obviously a biography of George Washington, our first president. And I have had this book on audio from Libro FM for quite some time. And I even started it and got fairly far in, but it is a big book. And I kind of pooped out on it and never went back. So I am just going to start it from the beginning and we'll just see how far I get. I am not going to push myself to actually finish it, but I just want to make sure that I am reading, listening to it every day. And the fiction book that I randomly just decided to read when I saw it on my friend Alicia's Goodreads account is Spark of the Revolution. And this is a Christian, I guess it's a romance that is the first book in the Harbor of Spies series. And it is by, hold on, let me look at my list here. It is by Megan Soja, Soja. There are currently 3 books in the series. I don't have any idea if there's going to be more. But my friend Alicia has a booktube and a flosstube channel. I will link her booktube down below. It's called What Allie's Reading. And she, I believe, is planning on doing this readathon also. And she is obviously currently reading the series because I found it from looking at her Goodreads. I know nothing about this book. I'm going in totally blind. I just know it's Christian and it goes um, with the Revolutionary War era. So those are the only two actual books that I have. Like, I'm definitely going to read them next month. But also, if I finish at least Spark of the Revolution, I will either move on in the series if I really enjoyed it, or my other option is to read a girl called Samson. Samson. And that is by Amy Harmon. And this was recommended by one of the hosts of the Red, White, and June Readathon, Bethany Brings Books. And it sounds like this is one of her favorite books. Sounded very interesting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bethany, but I think you said in your video that it is a fiction, but it is based on a true story, a true woman with the last name of Samson who dresses up to fight in the revolution. I think that's what she said, but correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, that premise, if I'm right, sounded really interesting. So I am hoping that I can actually get to that one. But that's going to kind of be like a if I finish the other things on my TBR, then I will go back to that one. And if not, I'll maybe read it in July. It's fine. Those are my only three ish things that I'm reading for the Red, White, and June readathon. There is, I forgot to mention, there is a graphic with additional prompts on it that I have not seen where anybody said that you can't like double up with like one book for multiple prompts. And I believe, if nothing else, the Spark of the Revolution book will probably cover most of these prompts. And obviously, I know that a George Washington biography will most likely cover a lot of these prompts. So I think I'm good there, but I may, mood read as I see fit if other things aren't going well. So the second readathon that I am going to participate in is one that I participated in last year, and it is the June Journey with Inklings readathon, hosted by Kaylee at Luminos Libros. And I, of course, will leave her channel linked below as well, along with her announcement video. And this one I participated in last year, and it all centers around the literary group, the Inklings, which included very famous authors like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, and I guess an honorary member was Dorothy L. Sayers. A lot of big names in the literary world of um, World War World War II era, we'll say. So this one is the readathon that I have the most books chosen for. And hopefully I will get to most of them because I think I have picked relatively short ones. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Ooh, and I did forget to pull a book that I have physically. So hold on 1 second. Okay, my apologies if the angle changed, but I had to get back there to get the book series that I am going to attempt to read from. So let's go through the prompts that Kaylee has for our journey with the Inklings. The first prompt she has is to encounter a wise mentor, and that prompt is to read the Bible. And this prompt is easy for me. I try to read the Bible every day. So I am probably just going to continue with the study that I am doing. And I'm also trying to write out by hand the entire Bible. And I'm only in Exodus at the moment, which is only the second book of the Bible. So I have this prompt covered, but I need to get back to my handwriting the Bible because I've been doing this for over a year now, I think, and I'm still only on Exodus. So I need to get on with it. And I'm also doing a prayer study from the Daily Grace Co. And I forgot to bring it up with me, so I'll just pop a picture of what the study looks like. But I just started it, and obviously, since it is a study and it's a Christian company, each day of the study, you read multiple passages from the Bible. So I definitely have that prompt covered. The next prompt is to research ancient legends, and that prompt is to read a nonfiction by one of the Inklings. Now, I might change this depending on the timing, but I have a copy of Surprised by Joy by C.S. Lewis that my friend Leanne gave me for Christmas, I believe. And I have read this book before, but I listened to it on audio, and sometimes C.S. Lewis is a little bit hard for me to grasp on audio. So if I have time and the brain space, I will maybe reread Surprised by Joy physically. This is a nonfiction about his journey from atheism to Christianity. And I really enjoyed it when I listened to it, but I also feel like I didn't get a ton out of it, so that I remember, So I would like to reread it, but if I don't have time to get to this, there's also a collection of essays by Lewis that is, I believe, in the same edition. So I might pick that up instead and just read a few essays from him. We'll see. I am reserving the right to change my mind since I have so many other things on my list. This might be kind of a last resort one for now. I mean, I will read it at some point, but if it doesn't happen this month, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. The next prompt is to set out on your quest, and that is to read a fiction book by one of the Inklings. And that's what I had to grab up there, because I grabbed the entire box set that I have of the Chronicles of Narnia by Lewis. This is becoming quite Lewis heavy already. But I'm not going to read the whole series, but you can see that I have also rearranged them into their proper order. I am a publication girly, publication order girl, not chronological girl. So I might read, because the ones that I am least familiar with, I've read them all, but some of them I've only read once. I might start with The Silver Chair or The Horse and His Boy, because those I feel like are the least popular, I guess. And I don't have any recollection of either one of those. So I would kind of like to read at least one of those this coming month. So we'll see what I can get to, but I'm leaning towards The Silver Chair, since I am pretty familiar with obviously The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So the next one that I am not as familiar with is The Silver Chair. Next is to discover hidden magic, and that is to read a new to me Inkling work. And that for me, I think, is going to be Leaf by Niggle, and that is by J.R.R. Tolkien. So we have gotten away from Lewis. Now, I know nothing about Leaf by Niggle. I think that's what it's called, yeah. Other than it's short. So I think that's probably why I picked it, so that I can try to get through more things. But yeah, it's one that I've heard of a lot, but I have just never picked it up. Also, there are just other little kind of side poetry and stories about kind of like in the same world of Lord of the Rings that Kaylee has discussed on her channel in the past. So I might try to pick one of those up too, if they're just, short little works. We'll see. But I am most confident that I will read Leaf by Niggle for this readathon. Next is to rescue the damsel, and this is to read poetry by an Inkling. I am not a big poetry fan, I'm not going to lie. But in that same edition that I had for Surprised by Joy, I ordered a copy of Poems by C.S. Lewis, and it hasn't arrived yet. It probably like the day after I ordered it, it told me it was going to be delayed. And I was like, I just ordered it. How is it delayed already? But it's supposedly on its way. If it's not, I will cancel it and reorder it. But I at least want to read one or two poems from that collection to see what I think of C.S. Lewis poetry. I think last year for the readathon, I was going to read The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, and I never got to it. So I may also do that one since I didn't read it last year. So yeah, we'll see about that because I actually really love the character of Tom Bombadil, and I was really sad that they left him out of the movies. So I feel like I need to listen to the adventures of Tom Bombadil. So might be two poetries for this prompt, which is very unlike me. But here we are. The next prompt is to restore the magical sword. And this is to read a book that was either influenced by the Inklings, so a more modern book that was influenced by the Inklings, or a book that influenced the Inklings. So I watched, Kaylee has a recommendation video. She has multiple recommendation videos from her first year doing this readathon. And in one of those videos for this prompt, she was reading some letters back and forth from Lewis to Tolkien. And in that book, they talked about P.G. Wodehouse. And I love, in theory, I should say, I haven't actually read any of the Jeeves works. So that's what I'm going to read. I'm going to read The Imitable Jeeves by P.G. Wodehouse. But I have seen a play that my local theater group and some of my friends were in multiple years ago, and it was hilarious. I don't remember if it was this, like a play adaptation of The Imitable Jeeves, or if it was a different one. But it was hilarious. So I am definitely going to read a Wodehouse for Wodehouse. How do you pronounce his name? P.G. Wodehouse, I think. I think I've been saying it wrong. I'm saying it like Emma Woodhouse from Jane Austen. But anyway, yes, I'm very excited to read something like that because that will be like a total departure from anything that I find in Lewis or Tolkien. But both Lewis and Tolkien also have a really fantastic sense of humor in their books. So I'm not shocked that they both enjoyed Wodehouse. So, so that's exciting that is one that has influenced the Inklings. So the second to the last prompt is to defeat the Dark Lord, and this is to watch a screen adaptation of an Inkling book or a film about their lives. I do have the most recent adaptation of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, so I may watch that. But I also might watch Shadowlands because that is a biopic sort of C.S. Lewis and his relationship with his wife Joy and how they met and everything. So I may watch that. And then also Kaylee has talked about a 1988 version of the Narnia Chronicles, and they have like a few out. So I'm going to maybe try to see if I can find that because that was never on my radar in the 80s. So, I mean, I was pretty young in the 80s, but I'm I'm very interested to watch at least The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and maybe compare it to the one that I have. So, which obviously being done in the early 2000s, I'm sure the special effects and everything are far better than what they were in the 80s. But I feel like the one in the 80s is probably going to be pretty accurate to the books. And yeah, might just be very nice. All right, so the last prompt is fulfill the prophecy. So you have ended your quest and you are fulfilling the prophecy. And this is to read a book about the Inklings or their work. So I already know because I have it from my library on Kindle, waiting to go, is J.R.R. Tolkien, a biography by Humphrey Carpenter. This is one that I was recommended via Kaylee, and I don't really know that much about Tolkien, other than he was a linguist and a professor and, you know, obviously brilliant and a Christian, of course, but I don't know much about his life or his, uh, his upbringing or his faith or anything like that. So I would be very interested in this book. So I think I might have Kindle text to speech read it to me, which I know like a lot of people are like, oh, that'd be awful, but I'm kind of used to it, so it's fun. But yeah, we're gonna try that and see how it goes. So those are the books that I have on my TBR for June, for the Red, White, and June readathon and the June Journeys with Inklings readathon. I think 10 plus books will cover me for the month, especially when the last few months I have hardly finished one book in the span of a month. So we'll see how this goes. But I really feel like I want to uh, really participate in these readathons. I'm considering, although I won't promise because every time I do that, I fail. I'm considering either trying to do a weekly vlog or at least a weekly, like, what did I read this week? Like a Friday reads kind of thing. So we'll see how I document this, but I definitely want to. And I will document it also on my Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, um, my handle there is Rainy Day Reads as well. And yeah, yay! It's summer. Yay! It's America's 250th birthday almost. Yay! So I hope everybody is having a wonderful start to their summer. Let me know if you are participating in either of these readathons and what you're most excited to read. And I will talk to you soon, hopefully, with some updates. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.